I'm Margaret Jo McCullen.
And I'm Terry Rialto. And you're listening to
TC and Jake
on National Public Radio.
Welcome into the DFW Sports Mashup. I'm TC Fleming. Where are the Cowboys going to go at 10, Jake? Are they at 10?
They are. Pass.
What does it mean that the Mavericks were able to pull it out against the Grizzlies last night?
It's pretty fucking huge, man.
Did you guys talk about that on the other show?
We did.
The mini show?
That was
the big show.
The big show. That was a I can't go to bed for 2 hours after it's over type moment. And it was already a late
Maybe
tip.
take a shower.
I thought about it.
Hose yourself off of it.
It was
Cool them down.
It was already a late start, but yeah, I was thinking I might like doze off fourth quarter, watch the rest of the game in the morning, and that was not an option. It was astounding.
Was a bummer that we got so little time as the lead story on ESPN.com on account of Luka.
Yeah, you're talking about Rodon?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was weird because SVP now does his show like right after the ESPN game of the night. Mm-hmm. And like everybody's riding that high who's watching it, and they went right to the White Sox? Like, okay.
Why not, dude? It was a perfect game.
It's baseball, and it wasn't a perfect game.
Well, I mean, it was a perfect game in the ninth.
Yeah, but a lot of people would have been like, we were winning this war until they slaughtered our entire army. And
I mean, there's still a no-hitter. It was a big deal.
There's, a few of those?
What do you mean?
No-hitters?
There's two so far.
No, I mean like ever.
Yeah, I mean...
there's a lot. There's not very many perfect games.
Yeah, but it's not like there's no hitter every night.
Yeah, but there was one less than a week ago.
Well, I mean, it's not my fault that the fucking Rangers have decided to just turn their entire organization into no-hitter bait. Like, you think that's the last time they're going to get no-hit this year? I'm going to bet no.
I'm going to bet no also.
Over, under 3.5. What do you want?
Under.
I think I said that too high.
Dude, especially
2.5.
I think they'll get no hit one more time.
Okay.
But dude, with Culberson breaking out like this, you kidding me? Colby?
Okay.
Rockets. All over the field.
I do like Dane Dunning.
Dane Dunning picked up in the Lance Lynn trade. Back to you. I'm a baseball guy. What do you know about that?
I mean, I would hope you know the origin of every player on a roster of I mean, there's only 25 of them, although more now, right? And you.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
What?
There's not a single person up there that can name for you more than 10 Rangers players right now.
Well, then you're not doing your job. Your lack of professional standards doesn't make me dumb.
I am doing my job by focusing on the things people give a shit about. That is my job.
So there's no Ranger fans on your... I mean, Josh
Very
listens.
few.
I know Josh cares about where all the players come from.
Okay. I don't think that's a representative sample, but...
I bet if we took a poll... People like baseball, dude.
No,
it's a very
they really
popular
don't.
Sport.
They really don't.
You know, you could make plenty of points about how, like, the baseball watching public is different from the overall public. Or, like, there's a lot of groups where you could say, actually, baseball has kind of lost these people. I don't think ticket listeners fucking close to that group. The fucking 60-year-old whites that make up your entire audience, they don't like baseball. That's what I'm here to believe.
I don't believe that's the bulk of our audience, but...
well, I mean, the... target is 25 to 54, so I understand you don't care about the 60-year-old whites, but I just want to let you know I've worked at that station. I have an idea of who listens. It's not just one of those guys.
I cannot tell you the last time, and this is a way skewing of the representation, but because these people aren't on Twitter. But I cannot tell you the last time. I will get emails from people that
They
I'm
stopped
aware.
emailing you, dude. They email Norm.
Yeah, you may be right, but like Norm doesn't talk Rangers barely. Nobody cares. I mean, this could be just borne out in TV ratings. Whoa. But that's also a muddy situation because actually George and I were talking about this today.
If the station was programming based upon TV ratings, then why am I getting emails about the death of a women's basketball coach?
It's a good point. That's a good point.
What are their ratings like?
And I mean,
what was the highest rated game that Pat Summitt ever coached?
Lower than the highest rated game Buddy Ryan ever coached.
You mean the lowest rated?
Yeah, the lowest rated.
Yeah. I bet the Rangers every game this year will be competitive with Pat Summitt's most watched game?
Competitive maybe, but I would bet that Pat Summitt has coached. This is the dumbest conversation. I bet Pat Summitt has coached in 3 games that will be higher rated than every single Rangers game this year outside of opening day.
It is a good illustration of how memory works. Like Chuck Klosterman had the point in What If We're Wrong about, that like big band music used to be like an entire genre that had as many nuances as rap does today. But now in your mind, it's just John Philip Sousa, or like reggae, same thing, but it's just Bob Marley to you. I worked there for a long time, received a lot of feedback, a lot of talk about positioning and things of that nature. And in my mind now, it's just compressed down to one email about Pat Summitt.
No, we all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it. But the point is, and I don't even know how much this matters, but the Rangers in specific have worked their way into a situation where you can almost like do a bingo of reasons to piss people off. Like one, let's just start with they suck.
Yeah.
So that's like the most broad-based, obvious one. They suck. They don't have a bunch of guys that they're really telling you about for the future all that much. Maybe, some of these guys will hit to be at least like regulars, but...
You'd really like to think so, but it's not my understanding that the promise has come through just yet.
This is not a Correa, Bregman, Altuve situation. So that's point one. Point two, a lot of people can't watch it. That's not like everybody, but there is a substantial amount of people, if we want to skew to the younger demographic, who can't watch it.
It's unfortunate.
It's ridiculous.
I think I might get DirecTV back.
I really do not want to, because I am using a Fox Sports Go login from family. And while I do not like that app at all, it does not do it for me. I will fight through it for Mavs. It's a lot harder to fight through it for Rangers, because I feel like when I used to watch Rangers back in the day, a lot, I would still kind of flip around a little bit.
Whenever I was cutting the cord, though, I got the free trial, for a week to see if I was going to like it, and would toggle back and forth between my DirecTV box to see if I felt like I could tell. And the answer was like obviously yes, and it wasn't big enough to justify the extra $60, but I kind of tucked it away of like, one day when we're making it, homie, maybe we can go back to this. Maybe we're here.
Maybe.
Things are good.
How'd you do that?
I'm fucking DirecTV rich. What?
Oh. So that's 2 reasons. Reason 3A and 3B, doesn't really matter if you're pissed off at them about COVID, going back to the summer. Last summer with their employees, like giving anonymous quotes to ESPN about, we had a fucking outbreak and they're making us all come back to work.
That's probably not a big thing in anyone's mind.
But that gets into the opening day capacity thing. So some people are pissed off about that. On the other thing, maybe you're pissed off they're a part of Major League Baseball who don't want to keep politics out of sports. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, all those
My name is
reasons.
Brett Favre.
Yeah, okay. That's stupid thinking regardless.
Yeah, I know. I just think that if you start checking enough boxes and you've pissed off enough people, the main one being that your team is awful and...
Yeah, it's just that the team's bad. Like, if they were going to the World Series, none of that other shit would matter. The ratings would be the same regardless of whether or not...
The TV thing.
The TV thing is, I mean, yeah, no, the ratings are hurt by the fact that they aren't on TV. That is true. I do agree with that.
Did you hear that the Virgin Bachelor's gay?
I did hear that.
You didn't watch that season, did you?
No, but I listened to his podcast and I talked to a close associate of his. Those are my connections.
That's right. I forgot about that. Your Vegas encounter. Mm-hmm. And your big deal
I was dipping into some Bobby Flay's queso fundido, just as the man was telling me.
I got to learn how to make that.
It's an amazing dish.
Not Bobby Flay's. I could never...
Can't get to that level.
But I could imagine a scenario where I could at least get some basic fundido.
But if you could, you would get to have sex with Ari's wife.
Bobby Flay had sex with Ari's wife on that show?
I don't know if it was sex, but it was like they were separated and Ari heard that they were out somewhere.
I don't even want to get into it.
We haven't gotten there yet. Megan and I are rewatching. I've told you that, right? It fucking
it's
rules.
painful. No,
The
it
show's
does,
so good.
it does not rule.
I love it. It's what I look forward to every night. I hope that she's got enough juice left in the tank for 3 episodes. Just run through them.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I've never really thought of myself as someone having ADD, but I can't watch more than 2 episodes of anything in a row. Like ever.
I think that's a reasonable amount.
I think so too, but I don't.
But these
the
are
person who lives here is
okay.
easily willing to get hooked on something and do 4 or 5 in a row. Not me, man.
Yeah.
Moving and shaking. Hey,
Speaking of moving and shaking,
there's my ice.
you're a bad guy. They just want to listen to the podcast without clawing their ears out.
How do we start talking about Bobby Flay? Oh, you and Colton in your moment. But wasn't your breaking news someone telling you like, hey, psst, he's not a virgin?
He has had sex. Yeah, no, the guy who happened to have been sitting near us at an earlier bar, and like, I guess once he said it, I mean, he must have. Why would he lie about it, right? Like, and he correctly, he was like, you guys were at the link earlier, right? Yeah, we were right down to the thing. And I'm like, that's really fucking weird.
I hate that, dude. I hate that.
Even if it's true, let's all not acknowledge it. Like, verbally? No, please,
We're
come on.
supposed to bro down now?
Yeah, but yeah, so several hours later, we were at a different place. Same people still sitting next to us, trying to, I mean, like, listen, I get it, dude. Was it the most fun table in Bobby Flay's Mesa Grill? Obviously. Do you want to join it? I know. But, like, we got fucking rules here. And so, yeah, KJ said something about The Bachelor, and the guy was like, oh, you guys watch The Bachelor? We were sitting next to you at an earlier bar, and one of my cousins had sex with Colton. And he's a man.
No, he didn't leave that part off, but he left it open-ended.
No, he's pretty clear. He's like, dude, I got a hot cousin. No, he didn't say that. It was implied. I mean, you got to figure, right?
Yeah, it's probably...
I mean, you think ugly people have sex with Illinois State football players?
Or just Bachelor contestants in general.
Yeah.
That's probably a higher rank than Illinois State football players, but...
Go Redbirds.
Yeah, it was really odd the way that it went down because he's sitting there with Robin Roberts, and he's on... I guess my entire vibe whenever I was watching it was also like seeing George Stephanopoulos up there and being like, what are you? Like, you're throwing it to an interview with a guy who has absolutely no cultural significance in any like tangible terms. He's created nothing. He was a star of a reality show. I get it. ABC runs that show. It has a high degree of cultural penetration, but it doesn't mean anything. We watch it for the exact reason that this shit means nothing. That's the sell. So when this guy has like a personal revelation, when Colton does, that feels like it's not news to me at all. And it doesn't seem like it's enough news for them to sit down like they're sitting down with, Jamal Khashoggi's wife or something. Like,
it was big news, though. Like, I agree, but it was huge news.
We talked about it. We're talking about it now. It just still made me think, like, first of all, he says he's gay. And obviously never having, lived something that I was afraid to share in that way seems traumatic, painful.
I certainly have been afraid of being gay, haven't you?
No.
You didn't, like, as a kid, you weren't like, boy, they are fucking roasting these other kids. And I could wake up one day and find out it's me.
I never had that thought ever.
Dude, that was once a week. It was like, what if, dude? Like, I don't know. I've never had sex with a woman before. Like,
but you knew what you were aroused by.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like WWE main event. Like,
no, it's not like I was watching gay porn being like, boy, I hope I'm not gay.
Let me give this another run and see, though.
But
that's super weird and super interesting.
Because of the ways that people, like, it always is presented something like this, right? Or not always, not close to always. But my conception of it at the time was that it was something like this where, at some point in your life, well past, like, the age that I was then, because it seemed like people only came out during this time whenever they were in like college or later.
Yeah, but that's when they came out.
I didn't understand that, though.
Yeah, okay.
Like, believe it
thought it
or
was
not,
like
the
getting-
12-year-old didn't pick up on all
Getting
that.
struck by lightning.
Yeah, more or less. Like, just, you know.
Just hope today's not the day.
Like, it's a car wreck.
Jesus.
And I mean, it's not like that I had a stigma about, like, the thing of being gay. It was just more like, I mean, these kids are calling me gay slurs constantly. What if they had the ammunition of me dating a man?
What do they know that I don't know?
Yeah, I don't like this as it is, and you know, it's like not anything to do with me.
Yeah, that I'd never thought about that as a concept or personally. I was getting made fun of for plenty of other stuff, so I never really thought too much about it. But obviously, and he mentioned this in his exclusive, that when you're a kid, and he said whenever he was playing sports, you know, if somebody messed up a play or something, or some kid was bad, they would call him gay.
Yeah,
he's like, so I obviously you internalize that.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, that's not, I don't want to be that, even though he said that he knew since he was 6 years old that, as he put it, that he was different. But so get back to the Today Show thing or Good Morning America thing. It's just
is so, and like, just the Reality Steve interview with him, the like podcast he did.
When was that?
I mean, someone emailed it to us, and it was because that's the only way I found it. It's like one of our listeners was like, "You guys got to check this out." It's probably like 6 months ago, something like that. Sounds right. But yeah, he just talks a lot, and obviously it seemed like he had a weird season. Would you say that was accurate?
The weirdest.
Yeah.
Well, one of the weirdest for sure.
And like, I don't know. I kind of want to go and listen to the whole thing again, because there is that one girl that he had known before or whatever.
Yeah.
Like whenever they were both kind of aware that they were they were doing the kinds of things you do to try and get on the show.
Yeah.
And we're like kind of hanging out prior. And then he had the whole thing where like, he was like, yeah, she was a great friend, but that was it. That kind of now in retrospect is like he just didn't want to date women because he wasn't interested in women.
Yeah, and I think the viral clip is like that man on the street comedian, Billy Eichner.
Uh-huh.
You've seen that yet?
Not about him. I mean, I know who Billy Eichner is.
Well, he's gay.
He is, yeah.
And
I picked up on that.
they had him on the show, on The Bachelor.
Okay.
To do one of the,
And Colton started making out with him?
No, he didn't start making out with them.
That was your tip?
But no, I was going to say that, what's the guy's name? The Vegas dude who's not Donny Osmond, who's like got orange face.
That's a great question.
He's like I
know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
But that's one of the great things about The Bachelor.
Frank Sinatra.
No, Bachelor, Bachelorette is just how spare the talent that they bring in that everyone has to act impressed by.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly
it's the
just
biggest show in America.
Yeah, I know. Like, you don't have the fucking budget. Go get Art. Well, no, go get Nelly.
Who are you gonna say? Art Briles?
R. Kelly.
Oh, okay.
You probably don't want him on there, but still, like, it's.
I think that it's I just think that show in general feels to me like they don't spend anything on it.
Yeah.
Like,
which was what?
The places, like, I think that it is like ABC saying we're not going to have a network unless we can make $200 billion every time this thing airs. Who's the guy?
Wayne Newton.
Yeah, there you go.
So Wayne Newton was on there like a few years ago.
Jesus Christ.
And we were laughing so hard because they've got this group of like 23, 24-year-old, Instagram people on there. And Chris is like, we got a big surprise.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe it.
Uh-huh.
Sit down. It's Wayne Newton, everybody. And everyone's like...
And then watching them, like, they'll do, like, the interviews with them where they're like, yeah, that was really cool to see Wayne Newton.
I never thought I would meet Wayne Newton.
Yeah, no, I always think on that, I've probably told this story many times on the podcast before, but Megan was friends with Cass Haley, who appeared on America's Got Talent, I think, some kind of competition show, and made it fairly far.
Man versus food.
Man versus food. That's not nice.
I don't know. What's she?
He's not slim.
Oh, it's a bit. Okay, I thought it was a woman. I thought that would make the joke.
Oh, no. Cass Haley is a male. He's in Lincoln commercials.
Oh, okay. See, I thought the joke would be funnier that the concept of letting a woman participate in Man versus Food. They're not a man.
Yeah, dude, keep him out. But yeah, so the producers went to him And we're like, all right, we're gonna book one of your dream bands to come in and work with you, and we're gonna make an episode off that. And he's like, cool, awesome, that's great. They were like, so who are your dream bands? And he like gives them a list of like, these are my heroes. And they come back to him later, and they're like, they were booked, but we got UB40.
All right, you've at least heard of UB40.
The red wine guys, huh?
Yeah.
And then so like on the episode, he and like at the whatever they told him that, he was like, I don't think he said it out loud, but like he does not give a shit about UB40, obviously. But on the episode, he is like, they've always been like so big to me. Like red wine was,
I knew it.
Very formative.
I knew it.
So
Wayne Newton.
Yeah, that's the Wayne Newton thing. Yeah, that they'll be like, I couldn't fucking walk 5 feet in my house without hearing Wayne Newton. That's the honest truth, and I'm certainly not lying.
Dude's got a big orange face tattoo up here. He's like, check out my Newton ink. Yeah, so he was gay going on the show, or that he knew he was gay going on the show. He says in this interview that that the day he found out that he was going on The Bachelor, that he thanked God for making him straight. Because this meant that now he's going to be able to live like he's supposed to, which is to have a wife and to have kids and to have the house.
That's tough, dude.
Which, I mean, if you just want to follow the logic here of which...
Gay people do have houses.
And they also get married.
Yeah.
Like you can have kids now, too. It's probably linearly the safest time ever. Not saying there's no problems and no prejudice, but anyways... When I heard him say
I'm
that,
sure gay people in the 50s would take it.
Yeah, exactly. When I heard him say that, I was like, all right, so do you think Chris Harrison is God? Like, what do you mean when they selected you
There's
as
no
the Bachelor?
effective difference.
Like if they had selected, Chad instead. Mm-hmm.
Which they should have.
Always. Is he like, oh, then I guess I am gay? I'm not sure that I was really following his line of thinking there.
I mean, all
all
of those people that appear on that show have weird ass brains. Anytime you hear them talk about what's going on up in there, it's a wild ride.
Which is why this season was so boring. Mm-hmm. They didn't have enough of that.
Yeah.
And on a somewhat serious note, it also was there was a lot of talk about race relations. A lot. You got a black bachelor. You have a number of black females there. A number of
George
mixed
Floyd.
race. It was like shortly thereafter they were
We're
filming
in a different
it.
moment in America, dude.
And it permeated because then the woman.
I do think we are all going to look back a little bit. Like I don't know. It's been distressing to me on a number of levels, like across a wide variety of factors, how little that's really like stuck.
Well, turn your TV on tonight.
Yeah, no, I know.
Because your city's about to burn the fuck down, and it ain't because Rodon plunked a dude with 8 1/3 through a perfect game.
It is good that we had a day game today.
Yeah, you might not be playing tomorrow. I don't know where their schedule
Or
is.
we're going to Boston tomorrow.
Okay.
A city that's always had
super chill.
neutral race relations.
Speaking of that, do you remember, not speaking of race relations, because
I don't want to leave this show.
Hold on real quick.
Okay.
Do you remember a long time ago, we did maybe a full show, but at least like 30, 40 minutes on the Boston art heist?
Yeah.
It's a Netflix show now.
Okay, I saw a thing on Netflix about...
It's called This Is a Robbery, because that's what the dude said when they walked in.
Yeah.
Like real dramatic style. They walked in dressed like cops, St. Patrick's Day, and said, this is a robbery.
Yeah.
And then they stole like $30 million in art that's never been recovered.
Yeah, and the podcast about it, I think it didn't leave me with like a ton of questions. Like,
is that what this is coming from?
I don't know. It could be. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could do this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's just a podcast they made into a show. I would assume that they did more. I'll find out. I'm interested in the case. So
it's only 4 episodes, which I think is the perfect true crime length.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened to hour-long documentaries, but I hear what you're saying.
Well, once you've put me in the position between choosing that and 8 episodes that could have been 4, now you've cast Sunsteined me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the podcast was like, this is a universe of people that definitely did it. Like, which one has it and like where the stuff is now? Because I think they recovered a little bit of it.
I think you're right. But not like the most expensive one. Or
and so
two
that
of
made
them.
it clear enough, like you're not going to be able to put him in jail, but it's not like an open question who did this.
Yeah. All right. So the only thing I had on the Colton deal, two things. One, I think it's kind of weird. I don't know how bad your crimes have to be for people to not mention them as the first thing whenever you're being talked about publicly, if concurrently you're saying publicly that you're coming out. But they didn't mention once in a 15-minute piece, which was about a minute and a half, 12-minute interview, minute and a half, buffer on the front and the end of them talking about it. It never even got brought up that he's like, you got a restraining order filed against you, against the woman that broke up with you and put a tracking device on her car, and you were going through her mail and lurking outside her parents' house and her house. Like, I don't know, dude. If I'm Good Morning America, I might want to at least look at how this might look to women who have been stalked, who are now supposed to be like, I guess.
Isn't that like super weird?
Dude, if you watched the season, it would make sense, but it is very weird because he chose her at the end.
I mean, I guess I would argue that all stalking situations have next to nothing to do with sexual feelings.
Yeah, probably so.
Stalking's about control.
Yeah, but
and so it's difficult to take that this person says that she doesn't want to be interested. So it's not like you're stalking hoping that they're going to come out and be like, well, I am ready. Let's go do it. So it's
both of the two girls, he had 3 left, and 2 of them, Tasha went on to be a bachelor this last year, whenever they replaced the other girl who left, who then promptly broke up with the guy she left with 2 weeks into it. And this other girl, they were both really, really into him. Really into him. The girl he picked was not. And as the weeks went on, you could tell that she was like, this guy seems a little weird. I'm not really feeling the vibe here. But she stayed. And then he picks her. And she's basically breaking up with him on the show before it even ends. And he's like, doing we can work this out, like pleading. And maybe psychologically that makes sense. Because I believe he lost his virginity to her on the show. And in his mind, working through that suppression and trauma, he's thinking, well, if I've already done this, then I have to see this through. I'm not gay. He's basically thinking, I don't want to be gay. I met a woman I like. I had sex with her. I don't care if she's,
I don't know. It seems pretty obvious the fact that she wasn't interested is why he likes her.
Yeah, I mean, she's also extremely hot. The hottest one on the show by far.
Okay.
But that's not a reason.
Ugly people on the show.
Yeah, but I mean, cut above.
Okay.
But I'm saying at the time, you just think, all right, this guy's just picking the hottest girl here. And apparently that had very little to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever the interview with him was sent to us, I was like, oh boy, this is going to address one of 2 big topics. Either one, Reality Steve is going to go at him about you're not actually a virgin. I found out the truth. Because I'll bet that guy fucking talking to us, if he knew who Reality Steve was, he certainly would have emailed Reality Steve.
And there's a million of those guys.
Yeah. So I thought it likely that Reality Steve had heard that at some point, but he didn't bring it up in the thing. And then I thought I was listening to it because he would address, what the fuck happened with the stalking. And didn't either. I think though that was, I think he recorded the interview before the restraining order was filed and everything like that.
It's a very weird story,
but
man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It sends a terrible fucking message that Good Morning America does that. You really have to ask questions about how much the Bachelor franchise is controlling what is ostensibly a news program's coverage of, this kind of thing. And yeah, no, that's fucked up on a lot of levels. And you have to wonder, just put yourself in the position, Jake. Let's say that, you became the campaign manager for an obscure state governor attempting to, capture the Democratic nomination against a number of heady challengers and then unseat an incumbent, something that hadn't been done. When was the last time? What, the fucking Depression?
You're going to have to give me more tips here.
Well, I'm just Stephanopoulos, dude.
Oh, okay. You're talking about
and you do it
Bill?
off. You pull the inside straight. You know about inside straights, right?
No, I think you've asked me this before.
I know. You know,
He made it all the way to the White House.
When you're basking in that glory, did you think that the ultimate prize that would come with it was throwing it to the Gay Bachelor's coming out story?
That's what I'm saying. It's so the show is so weird because it basically, and I get it, it's a morning quote variety news show, but I think what you end up getting whenever you try that.
For people who don't know, George Stephanopoulos was Bill Clinton's. It's him and James Carville are like the two big architects of the 1992 Clinton campaign.
Yeah, Carville gets the economy stupid and gets to teach government classes at Tulane, and Stephanopoulos gets to throw it to Colton Underwood.
Yeah.
I mean, and the weirdest part about it is he still does his news show on Sunday. Like, if I'm Josh Hawley, I'm like, you can't tell me shit. I saw what you were doing earlier this week. Yeah. You were trying different chili peppers and throwing it to a guy I've never heard of before. Like,
tell it to Martha Stewart, Stephanopoulos.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like, they end up sucking at everything because they try to do everything. Like, it's a life philosophy.
Is there something that, like, you think that George Stephanopoulos kicks ass at? I mean, like, he's fine. He's got a smooth delivery, I guess. But, like, I've never thought, man, I wonder what George thinks about this.
Well, I mean, he does have some skins, right? So, like, the guy's obviously, he was a Beltway dude for a long time.
Took welfare away from needy families.
Super predator.
That's one of the skins.
He's got super predator.
Yeah.
The crime bill. But I think it's just odd to me that as a society, we blindly accept these sorts of like swerves. Like, it's absolutely nothing. I mean, Michael Strahan is good at his job.
I mean, on some level, it does make sense to me because, like, we all understand that we do have multifaceted interests, you know, like.
But I don't think you can be relied on to be I host one of the 3 Sunday news talk shows where this week, hey, what's going on in Libya? We're going to go to our foreign correspondent over here. We're going to have the senator who authorized the strike over here. We're going to talk this shit out. To me, if that's your job on Sunday, that should be your job all week. Get Carson Daly in there if he wants to. I think actually Carson Daly may be on one of these shows from time to time. But it would almost be like having Michael Strahan do Good Morning America while he was on the Giants. Like, it's fine when you're one or the other, but I don't know. It just feels weird. I mean, we kind of do it, but we acknowledge that everything we do is half-assed and dumb.
And, like, you talk about 2 fucking low-stakes lives, you know?
Yeah.
We're not talking to any generals.
No. And so it's very striking when you see it, when the panel of topics that they jump to and fro is like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. Where's Derek from Sum 41? Like, we'll let him.
Yeah, have him do it. Well, I mean, you know, it's Good Morning America.
That's true. Can't have any Canadians in the mix.
Yeah, no, just the Chicago thing I wanted to remark on a tiny bit more, mainly just to apologize, because I have a feeling that in a couple days, when most people are listening to this episode, it'll be stunning that we're talking about anything else, but I knew that there was video that the Chicago Police Department was holding back. I didn't know the person's name, but like in the course of driving over here, Justin was describing to me, like some of the outlines of what's going on.
That's why I didn't watch it before we had to talk.
Yeah. Same here. So I as we're sitting here now, I have not seen the video, but it seemed like I'm going to be depressed if it doesn't stop everything for a while, based on what he described to me. The thing he described to me, like, I don't know, I feel like we should tear up the Constitution and start over as a fucking nation if we allow this sort of shit.
Well, I'll tell you what was a really weird experience was we went down to Lake Travis this weekend.
We did.
By the way, dude, I was laughing so hard when I was unpacking my car. I left some stuff in the trunk on Monday, or Sunday overnight. Unpacking my car on Monday when I saw the Captain Chris koozie that I took home. The guy who captained our boat, who was actually the same guy who captained the boat 6 years ago,
Absolutely.
5 years ago when we went for my 30th birthday. Same dude.
And I hope that's not the last time I see him.
He's a beating, but I totally agree.
I like him. I mean, he's trying to have a good time.
I spent too much time up top.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your fault, dude.
I know, but I like to be.
I didn't get out of the water.
I like being up there. By the way, you have something about you that makes you different.
Because it was so cold?
I was there for 10 minutes, and I'm fairly certain that combined with not a lot of sleep and my kid being sick to me getting sick. I was there for 10 minutes and was like, I'm dying in this water.
You know,
so I wanted to be as far up top as I could so the sun was closer to me.
I had that Wim Hof mindset, dude. I just fucking made my body warmer.
You might be able to do that. I don't know.
Wim can, and I'm going to learn how.
The guy who captained our ship had koozies.
Yeah.
That he handed out at the end of the ride. And the koozies, he's been doing this a long time, so he's somewhat well known, have like a cartoon drawing of his face on. And his body is no shirt. He's got a hat on, and it says Captain Chris.
But like on the boat, he wears like a big sun hat with like a bandana underneath it, and then has that signature look illustrated on the koozie. So it's like, you know me, I'm the guy with the big hat and the bandana.
From the koozie. It's amazing. He's a legend.
Yeah, Good Times Tours. Shout out. Got a 2-story pontoon. This podcast endorses.
I'd like to go back again.
Does that mean we'll get a discount, Captain Chris?
Let us know. So what I was going to say is we went away, and I'm not looking at my phone all weekend, dude. Yeah. Like, say for one call to the wife, get there like 8 o'clock Friday, left at like 8 o'clock a.m. Sunday, and I am not paying attention to anything other than Michael Bay and Ben Affleck doing commentary on Armageddon.
Oh, my God.
Other than that, like, we laughed a little bit whenever we saw the Rangers got no hit or were getting no hit and flipped it over. But other than that, nothing. Mm-hmm. No content, no news, nothing. Just jokes and laying on outdoor couches. Mm-hmm. I get home on Sunday and I'm like, I can't even keep up. I'm like, so another person got killed in Minnesota by the police during this trial? Like, I'm like, what am I looking at here? And then I texted Justin because I'm like, dude, I feel like we missed a lot of news this weekend while we were gone. He's like, a 13-year-old got killed in Chicago, unarmed. I'm like, what? Like, it felt like it was just, and there's more too. Like I don't even know, dude. It was just an onslaught of emotional information that I didn't even really know how to handle. I'm like, I guess this is just, it's not only back to normal, it feels like it's more.
Yeah, I don't think that this following statement is going to nominate me for any Nobel Prizes, but whenever the Floyd stuff was happening, obviously I had a lot of time. Kind of like that the kid that unfortunately passed away.
That year you had time.
Yeah, I did have time the whole year. And now as like the other things that are bad are occurring, I have less, and like I don't know, dude.
That makes you feel bad, doesn't it?
It makes me feel bad, but it's kind of like I like not like having the choice to marinate in it.
Yeah, I probably agree, but it also makes me feel like it's going to be much more of a blip than it was last year. Like,
because like obviously me marinating in it last time didn't help anyone, like they're still getting shot. It seems to me like a similar pace.
Yeah, or I don't know if it's more. It just continues to be more public. It may be more.
So like what exactly is the good? I mean, like this, me making my life shitty or just sitting around thinking about how fucked up it is. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm sure I'll still do plenty of fucking sitting around thinking about how fucked up this is. It's really fucked up, and I can't help it. Like I can't help but think about it. Like it's, I don't know.
I do think
I'm not wired that way, but like
it didn't change to where it stopped. Obviously, mm-hmm. That may take a long time, but I'm gonna at least convince myself that whether it's through a number of initiatives, really not much happened at the government level, but I think. Stuff like the South Lake diversity thing we were talking about, like that's probably gonna pass, and they're going to have basically courses on how racial discrepancies occurred.
That's good, and it probably obviously it's taking a lot of courage by the school administrators to get it passed. And I would bet that something like, well, these are the stakes. Like, I want this generation of kids to not grow up to shoot people that don't look like them. Like that's the kind of thing that you have to have in order to be like, if I get locked up, I get locked up. Fuck it. I'm putting this shit through, like you
just takes a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. But I don't know, dude. I look around at the current Dallas City Council races, and I was hoping that they would look different. It doesn't feel to me like that there's a slate of candidates that have like great chances where the thrust of their platform, the main point is, the police were attacking us all fucking summer and we have to fucking fight back.
And that's, I'm positive, not unique into
Yeah.
Dallas. So, yeah, you would have hoped that there would have been, you know, I mean, I hate to say, because I know a lot of people just think this is a bad idea for anything, but some level of federal oversight, that some level of, what's the policy called for where qualified immunity?
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a bad thing.
Yeah.
all
yeah.
the way around, that I would think you probably could do away with. Maybe it would take state by state. I'm not familiar with how that law and provision
I'm pretty
is.
sure that's something that could be changed federally, I think.
But either way, you would think it would have been changed in a ton of places. And it was a big conversation, and it at least didn't happen most places, if anywhere. So there are things that could have been quicker fixed than just, we need to raise a group of people, of white people, frankly, who don't view their fellow citizens as others.
Yeah.
But I think back to the, I can't remember who said this. I thought it might have been Barack, but I don't think he would have gone out on this limb. But it's the quote about Sandy Hook of like, listen, we had like a school building full of kindergartners and first graders get killed at.
I think he did. I think he was pretty fucking like whenever that thing passed, that's like, or it failed to pass. Like Sandy Hook happened, they had a bill specifically about it. It failed in the Senate, and I think that he then came out and
it might have
was
been
more direct than he is most of the time.
If it was him, somebody said something like, if that doesn't do it, then it ain't happening. Like, everybody remembers how sweet their kid was when they were 4, 5, 6 years old, and how innocent and perfect they are. And if you seeing on the news that like a whole bunch of these kids got killed by someone with a long rifle, then it probably is never going to change. And if a 13-year-old unarmed, haven't seen the video, but I highly doubt that it's going to make me feel better about this, with his hands up, is killed by a police officer, then, and if the last year, dating back to last summer, hasn't changed it, then
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of hope.
So I don't know. I wanted to mention it, but I
would
don't
recommend getting on antidepressants. Cheers.
But yeah, so it's hard to talk about anything else, but fuck it, let's do it. We were in Austin. I wanted to have a little Austin chat with you.
Okay.
So, I mean, just a long time promise that I've always made to myself is that I would not become one of those, well, Austin was good when I was young, but now it's not, people. Because that's constantly, like whenever I first started going there, as I mean, it was probably around the time that like we started living together, and I started working at the ticket and like, whatever.
So like 2011.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And I mean, the first time was the ACL that Pearl Jam played.
Okay.
Like I'd driven through it before, but that was the extent. And like I arrived in this place that seemed like the coolest fucking place that I'd ever been. It was just amazing. I was blown away. I couldn't believe how good it was. And it was full of people being like, but it sucks now. And I'm like, you fucking dummies, open your eyes. Like, this place rocks.
But now you're about to break a promise.
And there's traffic. That's now because there's traffic. You want to tell me it blows.
Yeah.
Fuck off. But I have different objections. I don't know, dude. In general, like, this is, in my mind, amplified by Joe Rogan moving there. Mm-hmm. Just like, I feel like those fucking giant tech money, intellectual dark web leaning, total fucking shitheads. Like, the fact that Elon Musk is there, like, doesn't surprise me. All that stuff, it's just a vibe that I understand why they like it, but like, I don't know, like, I understand why those people like Austin because it's awesome, but like, it sucks that they found out about it. And I don't like, this is all bullshit, right? Like, we were there for 2 fucking seconds. We were in a house most of the time. I don't fucking live there, so like I have no right to be worried about its future or whatever. Like, I live in a different city and have my entire fucking life. So like none of them should give one shit what my opinion is about it.
You live somewhere else for a little bit.
That's true. But I've never lived in Austin.
Conroe's just not the same these days.
It's really not. But like, whenever we were leaving the party cove we were in, I'm sure you saw it because it was impossible to miss. There was a boat much larger than this house that was pulling in. And I don't even know how there is a boat launch on the lake that fits something like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what size the Bravo Eugenia is, but it can't be that different. It was 3 fucking stories.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the only one that was like that. Like it was the most notable example, but they got fucking yachts on there and it's not a huge lake. And it just,
some people would call it a river.
It felt emblematic of the whole thing to me of like, you know, that like, this is the problem. Like that you're floating a yacht on a tiny river, and like these people who worked really hard to get these, you know, little, even the 1-story pontoons, you know, are just like barely able to drive around that. Like it fucked up. Whatever. It's not like my big problem here is that it rocked our boat, you know, but like it is very difficult to pilot a boat in the wake of a craft like that. And like I don't know. I felt like it was an apt metaphor for the kind of thing that I was already worried about. Like, did you know that they could have boats that big on that lake?
No, I did not. And I've only been on that lake 2 other times.
I mean, I've only been for your birthday party.
It wasn't like that.
Not at all.
That was only 5 years ago.
Yeah. It feels way different.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I mean, there's also the, like whenever like we picked Justin up and he was, you know, he hadn't been there. I don't know if he had ever spent time there, but he's just like, why is everything under construction? Like he took the bus from the Bergstrom. It's over by Frank Irwin.
Yeah. No, he got married in Austin. He has been there. But
yeah, okay. I can't remember. I think he just hadn't spent much time there.
Yeah, no. His first wife went to UT and everything, but I don't think he's. I mean, the last time he was there was with us for the Paranoid Fan.
Yeah, that's what he said it was.
Yeah,
and even back then, I felt like it was pretty awesome.
I mean, I still feel like it's awesome. You know, I think it's an amazing place, but it does feel like it's changing, and that the complaints are a little bit more complex than like now the traffic is bad.
Yeah.
And like even the kind of like gentrification stuff I can deal with, you know? Like I read a Texas Monthly story about how are you familiar with Slab Sundays anywhere? Slab, of course, is slow, loud, and banging.
Okay.
And so you just take your low riders, just like drive them slowly in a circle with your music.
Yes, I'm familiar if we're talking Houston, if you had said like...
Yeah. And they have them here. Like there's some parking lot off of Lake June Road where if you go by on a Sunday, Slab Sundays are in full effect. And there's...
car people love Sundays, man.
Yeah.
They
for real.
Really, motorcycle people too. Like, what's wrong with Saturday? Like,
I don't know.
Saturdays for the wives, Sundays for the slabs.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, there was some park where they've done Slab Sundays for 30 fucking years, and like this is what these people are looking forward to in their week.
And now it produces microchips.
No, they still get to do the Slab Sundays, but they were doing an article about how they built a apartment complex next to it, and the people, the fucking recently arrived whites in the apartment complex are just wearing out the 911 on their cell phones, trying to get these people surely this is illegal somehow. I think all the smoke they're blowing up, this is bad for the trees.
Look, it's the L. It's right there in the name. It's going to be loud.
It will. And they'll just stand in a line outside the apartment complex giving disapproving looks like someone ought to do something about this. And that stuff fucking blows. But even that I can handle. It's that's a regular city changing kind of thing. And I'm one that believes that cities are constantly changing. That's the fun part about living in them. They're alive. They're a fucking organism that is constantly evolving. But something about inequality being like the pernicious parasite of inequality just latching onto this place specifically, I'm worried about where we're going to go. I just think we need to get Rogan out, dude.
Rogan is a start, but Elon's a much bigger deal.
But if we can get Rogan out,
Elon's like, where'd you go?
Elon's following Rogan. That seems obvious to me. I don't even know the history of who moved there first, but I bet you if we could get Rogan to Charlotte or some bullshit, that we could get Elon there pretty easy.
Yeah, now Alex can stay.
Well, Alex is
He's
a fucking native. Yeah.
Well, except for whenever he beat up that kid at...
Whenever he had to leave Rockwall under cover of night because the sheriffs were looking for him.
I was in 9th grade. He was a big football senior, but he was mad at me because all the senior girls were sucking me off. So he stepped to me and I beat his ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to say this without sounding like a complete douche. That's the problem.
I know. So I guess what I'm saying is I admit defeat. I am a hypocrite. I do now have complaints, but whatever. I would still happily live there. I plan to continue to visit.
I think that would be next to impossible now.
I know, dude. I look at the Zillows, like it's insane. But that's kind of, I don't know. That is part of, but it's not like the mere presence of Elon Musk makes it so that all the rest of the houses are. That's just that they need to build more houses. That's happening in cities across America. That the demand is far outpacing the supply.
Yeah, but I think that's exacerbated in DFW and Austin.
DFW is not anywhere close to that bad. I mean, I think that we can be if we don't take proactive steps. And so I have a weekly podcast called Loserville where I mainly spend most of my time crying out for people to take these steps.
I read about that in another article that kind of summed up all the podcasts you do about
all of them. It was a comprehensive list.
Yeah, I think so.
What level of obscure one-off podcast would they have needed to mention if they talked about the one that me and Justin did for 7 episodes about what we would do if we won the lottery? If they had mentioned that and not this one.
I would have quit. I would have quit. The combination of 7 episodes and Justin.
Justin's a celebrity in his own right, dude.
Yeah, that would have been enough for me. That absolutely would have been enough for me. But, I think I worry about Captain Chris.
That's the thing, dude.
He's going to get edged out. He's not going to have stories to tell me about, at least 5 different stories, graphic stories that he thought I wanted to hear about pussy.
Yeah.
Just over and over, which one of them included...
Hey, did I have sex?
One of them included him trying to sell... And this is likely all BS, but...
I believe it.
One of them included...
Why would you buy a 2-story pontoon if you're not fucking playing strange on the reg? I think he does.
That would be interesting.
Because there was another guy, the guy who was driving the second boat, seemed to be taking orders.
Like the one that got there
Chris.
when we...
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that other, whenever I went on their website, you could rent either boat.
Well,
but that one didn't have a grill on top.
He told me a story about several different sexual escapades, but one of them included him trying to sell me that he had sex with a girl. I don't recall if he said it was on the boat or when they got back, but solely based on the strength of a cooler that she had seen.
I heard, yeah. She's like, I have that cooler too. Want to do it?
Yeah, I was like, that's never happened.
It's a great cooler, man.
Yeah, and he's like...
Buy you one of these, bro.
He's like air humping, like showing me like how it was going. I think Jordan was up there for that part.
Yeah.
But it's like the cooler part.
God,
it's
that
like,
rocks.
Yeah, I was like, hey, cool, man.
I would have tipped more if I knew that you'd gotten that.
It was just a lot, dude. It's just a lot. But
I would say it was not enough.
That dude, he may be an endangered species.
But yeah, no,
he can't compete with Grimes' yacht.
I don't think he can. But yeah, no, the panacea to this, the part of it that was a silver lining for me was when we did go down, you were entertaining the good folks at DFW on Friday, but I took the day off and went down and the Comal River out in New Braunfels. That it did. It's not like all the fucking. Riffraff and trash that made Austin amazing and beautiful. It's not like they have been displaced several states away. Like, that felt like a classic Austin vibe to me.
That's kind of how that's always been.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure some people moved, but...
Elon hasn't fucked that up yet.
Yeah, dude. Being at Schlitterbahn or the Comal felt like the vibe I was always looking for growing up or even in college. I mean, we would go there with my dad all the time growing up, at least once a year. And it, you know, a lot of mullets, a lot of bad tans, a lot of dip. You know, a lot of people dipping in a water park. My dad being one of them. It was just a great time, dude.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know. I love it down there. I
was
absolutely
awesome.
love it. I love, dude. You guys should. I'm telling you, man. You should go to like Dripping Springs.
We drove through, and yeah, absolutely.
The areas around there in the hill country are,
And if you like,
as
you know,
choice.
if the ticket decides to continue to do things remote, and you want to move the entire podcast operation down there, I'll be there tomorrow.
I think I could sell the wife on that. You know,
Yeah.
they have a lot of places that sell live, love, laugh signs.
We stopped at the
wine time
HEB
signs.
in Wimberley.
Yeah,
And,
I've been twice in the past year.
I enjoyed very much. It seemed like everyone in there was someone I wanted to be friends with.
Yeah, and just great guac. Mm-hmm. You know, the guac is second to none.
Yeah,
Damn, I missed that guac.
indeed.
That's probably all I got.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, if we're not going to watch this video, then
I don't want it.
Okay.
now.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
we do thank you for watching. Good night.